Arlesey Town Council on the play equipment.
This is in hand, apparently. Okay, so representative reports from outside bodies. Have any members got any reports? No?
Just one, Mr. Chair. There will be a tape with the Bedford and Luton Emergency Committee. Okay, there will be a tabletop exercise run at RAF Henlow later on this month.
Okay. Right, okay, members of the public, have you got any questions as a result of this evening's meeting? So, Mr. Want?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a suggestion really about the meeting on the master plan that's going to happen the day after the first full council meeting.
Probably happen.
Will probably happen.
Confirmed date, yeah.
Just a suggestion that, given that there's quite a few residents who, some of whom are councillors, some of whom are up for election as councillors, some of whom are in neither camp, are on the neighbourhood plan meeting group, and whether any of those could be sort of earmarked to attend, given that we don't know who's going to be on council in.
Each institute given 2 people.
Right.
Invited to send 2 people. So the neighbourhood plan would be part of the town council. It's the town council committee. So I don't know.
They're normally a maximum of 2, maximum 3.
No, I wasn't suggesting we send it, but
yeah.
do they have to actually be councillors, I suppose?
Pardon?
Do they have to be councillors to go to the central beds?
No.
No, not necessarily, not if,
So, I mean, given that...
for example, Duncan Wang is
Yeah, exactly.
chair,
I mean,
isn't he?
Duncan
He
Wang
could
would
probably
be-
go as well.
would be...
We could always ask
Yeah.
if they could allow for
Yeah.
that, in the light of the fact that it's something that we've only just started up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, could the Voice of Arlesey
This
place
is from
go
residents, Councillor West.
Yeah, could the place for the Voice of Arlesey not go one to neighbourhood plan and one to Voice of Arlesey, because it's more neighbourhood plan than Voice of Arlesey now?
I
It's
don't-
not our decision.
But that would be to decide that, would it? Yeah,
There's nothing to do with us.
okay. With another lady,
Can I just ask when the floor lights are going to be replaced round the pump? Because they haven't been lit for months.
The light fittings were beyond repair and they need replacing. I thought at one stage there was a quote going to come in.
I thought you were taking them away.
No, they were part salvage, unfortunately.
Right.
so they've got to be completely replaced.
Yeah, sorry, I thought that said about it, but obviously I didn't. No, they need replacing, so we need for want of a better description, petty electricians to give us a couple of quotations for it. There was a comment before about having lights on there as well, so it might be an opportunity, Christmas lights around the thing, it might be an opportunity while we're doing those lights, to put in an additional point to put in lighting for the lamps. Yeah, sorry, it was something I did, I looked at.
I'm afraid it's dropped off the agenda a bit, but
Apologies.
it can go back on now.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Any electrician.
Yes,
Chris?
basically,
Yeah,
floor lighting.
I've got 2 items I'd like to comment on. First of all, I would appeal to councillors, steel councillors in May and beyond, that something's done about the difficulty that council has in adhering to its own standing orders. We've seen a couple of examples this evening where committees have made decisions that have then been implemented. And from my memory of being on the council, this council has chosen not to devolve that authority to committees. So it really shouldn't happen. And the same as the Councillor Van Contres pointed out a couple of occasions tonight, where decisions are being made that fly in the face of policy decisions that have been made by the council. This is not effective use of councillors' time, and it also is one of the things that gives the council such a poor perception of the community, and it should be easy to address. You're very hot on suspending standing orders and shouting things out by rote, but when it comes down to adhering to the standing orders that the councillors agreed, they do at times get forgotten or paid lip service to. And it's just an appeal that if that was amended by this council, I think it would be good for the council, both in terms of efficiency and perception. So that's the first comment, if you like. The second thing is the discussion on the area of land next to Lyman's Road allotments. I, for one, am confused what the decision is. I've got 2 points to this. I'm confused because Councillor West has been given authority to go away and actually apply for funds, take the forms to the assistant clerk and have them submitted. And I'm sure if they're honoured, there will be some constraints on the council. We've got an external neighbouring body that's being involved. We had a proposal that the neighbourhood plan team should be involved, which was never ratified or agreed, or was it? I'm not sure. So I'm a little bit confused that we've got a community asset that I certainly, as an observer, am not clear what the council's policy on that is. Is it a big orchard? Is it a little bit of an orchard and more allotments? We had an ex-councillor say it was actually declared that that would be 4 allotments in the future. So I'm confused, and I don't know about you guys on that point.
I probably didn't make it clear, but what I was trying to state at the end of that discussion was that Councillor Clapham pursues her avenue of inquiry for making it a community orchard with funding. Councillor West said he can also achieve some funding through other means.
I will get the forms, fill them in, and I will then bring them to the office, and I will not send them anywhere else until they've been ratified by this council and the assistant clerk, the acting clerk.
Okay, well, the ratification wasn't mentioned.
The green will part of this needs to link in with whatever the neighbourhood plan does as well. But it's too early to say whether it would be used as a whole, or whether we would use it as a whole orchard, or as I suggested, it's used sort of half and half. Because it was originally set aside for allotments.
Yeah.
Obviously it was too big for that at the time, and therefore was divided in half, and that's why it was allowed to get derelict and overgrown.
Yeah. Okay, another.
In the early stages, it's still carrying on these lines of inquiry, without any definite decision being made one way or the other about whether it's half and half or 3/4 and a quarter, or whatever.
Okay, and another comment on that to the council is, wouldn't it be a good idea? I mean, currently that area isn't used by the community at all. I don't think there's access. In actual fact,
there is access.
No one ever goes in there.
Empty field.
Apart from perhaps fly tipping.
Which costs money, doesn't it?
Has the community been consulted as to what they would want there, and have the existing allotment holders been consulted? Because if it is going to become a publicly used area, then it would definitely impact on, dogs, children, whatever, going into their allotments. And lastly, I suggest, has the farmer with the adjoining field been consulted? Because we know that she's easily upset if decisions are made that impact on her land. So to me, I think there should be some consultation wider than the council on what should happen there.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this was actually raised at the Green Wheel issue, and that will form one of the major spokes, as it is a public footpath already, to form part of the Green Wheel issue. So there is no need for them to turn and say they'll have an impact on, because the footpath is already there and already in existence.
Yeah, and the Green Wheel will check up on all those things. The master plan will be a consultation plan anyway, and everything would. Green Wheel doesn't do things without everything being properly in place and inquired upon. And we are stakeholders in the Green Wheel, so.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of the community becoming involved, I mean, that would probably link in very closely with the neighbourhood plan, because that's what that's all about, isn't it, Councillor Holloway?
Yeah, it is. I want to try and get on to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Make sure that it gets onto the agenda and onto the radar. Are we still sending you emails if you back or?
So there wasn't any attempt to sort of exclude consultation with interested parties.
Yeah.
It was just I thought
Okay, but
it
that's
would
good.
link in through through that avenue as well, you see.
As an observer,
Yeah.
I felt that the neighbourhood plan bit was washed over and there were decisions being made, but obviously not. Thank you.
Yeah. As far as your first point goes, as far as standing orders not being observed and this sort of stuff, I think that some councils get very exuberant and go off on their own, down their own avenue and try and do what they can for the community. Sometimes without thinking that, certain procedures have to be applied, adhered to. But I don't think there's any devious means in it or anything like that. There's nothing negative about it. It's just that sometimes happens. And it's very difficult when you've got 15 people and not everybody attends all the meetings to actually know what's actually going on with everybody all the time. As you know, you as a councillor, and these things are not easy to control at times.
I definitely understand the difficulty, but I'm trying to hold a mirror up to what it looks like. And maybe the standing orders are too complex for purpose, and if they were kind of slimmed down a bit, it would make life
Standing orders
easier.
could be reviewed again
I know.
and I think they need to be looked at very closely this time, because I'm confused as to which standing orders we should have been using from the last annual town meeting.
Yeah.
Because some differ so much from the previous ones. Anyway.
Thank you.
Can we move on now to exempt items?
Do we not want to go